So now that we have explored some of the important features of the graphs of rational functions, we're officially ready to start sketching their graphs. So to help us out along the way, the following is some strategy. So step one. So a great place to start when sketching the graph of any function is to find the domain. And this is particularly so with rational functions because we know that they have domain restrictions. So to find the domain of a rational function, we can recall that we're going to set the denominator equal or not equal to 0 and then solve for x. So in step 2, we want to go ahead and simplify the rational function if possible. Now to do this, we want to factor the numerator and denominator separately first, and then proceed in canceling any like terms that appear. Step 3. So in step 3, we're now ready to find the vertical asymptotes. Now remember, we want to set the simplified denominator equal to 0 and then solve for x so that we don't produce any false conclusions. Step 4. So in step 4, we want to find the horizontal asymptote. Now in order to find the horizontal asymptote, we're going to be comparing the leading term in the numerator to the leading term of the denominator. Now keep in mind that the graph of a rational function may have one horizontal asymptote or no horizontal asymptotes. And also a little note here on part 3 that a rational function can have one vertical asymptote, no vertical asymptotes, or many vertical asymptotes. So keep those distinctions in mind. Step 5. Now in step 5, this is only going to apply when the degree in the numerator is exactly 1 degree greater than the degree of the denominator. And we know that that applies to finding slant asymptotes. So to find the slant asymptote of a rational function, we use long division with polynomials to rewrite that function f as a sum of a linear portion and a rational portion. Remember that linear portion is the slant. Step 6. So step 6 is asking us to find the intercepts. Now recall that there are two distinct types of intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So for the x-intercept, we of course know that we are going to let y equal 0 and solve for x. And similarly, for the y-intercept, we let x be 0 and solve for y. So step 7. So in step 7, we want to calculate additional solution points on the graph of the rational function f by creating a table of x and y values. Now this can make helping us visualize the graph of a rational function just a little bit easier. And remember, because of these asymptotes, it may be helpful to incorporate some fractions as x values when calculating such solution points. And last but not least, step 8. So once we have all of these important features in step 8, we're ready to sketch the graph. And as always, once you have sketched the graph, if you're still having a difficult time visualizing what that function looks like, you can always go back to step 7 and calculate additional solution points.